Rain chances are back on the rise for us across the ArkLaTex once again as we head into the new week. In the meantime, summer-like heat continues for much of our area. We'll talk more about how long that heat sticks around and how warm it could get in the meantime, plus also dealing with ongoing drought conditions across much of the ArkLaTex. That latest drought monitor update coming out today. We'll talk about what's changed for us, what hasn't changed so much, and what to expect in the weeks ahead. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm First Alert meteorologist Jake Lambright. We've got a lot to talk about whenever it comes to our forecast here in the coming days. Let's go ahead and dive right into our next weather maker that'll be arriving as we head into next week. This will bring us several days of rain chances across the ArkLaTex, maybe the potential for a strong storm or two, but the severe threat overall looks pretty low. We're starting to shift out of really our prime severe weather season and our prime season for tornadoes as well. So far, I'm not seeing a big tornado threat with this. Of course, that could change. We'll keep an eye on it. And of course, keep you first aware and first alert as we learn more. But expect several days of rain next week, kind of off and on, with also a cool down coming by the middle of the week, too. Rain chances starting Thursday. If you're watching this on Thursday, our rain chances are 0. 0 for Friday as well, and very, very low as we get into the day on Saturday. It's not until really Sunday and Monday that we see low-end rain chances start to return to the forecast, and then higher chances starting on Tuesday, and then likely continuing through much of the work week, if not into next weekend. Our rainfall forecast is looking pretty good so far. Not too little rain, not too much rain. As we get into some of our southern areas that are shaded in this kind of lighter blue color here out toward Nacogdoches and Natchitoches, this is where we can expect about 1 inch of rain or so, maybe a little bit more. Along I-20, so Longview, Marshall, Shreveport, Minden, we're looking at about 2 to maybe 3 inches of rain, somewhere in that range. Then we get up here to the Texarkana area, we're looking at anywhere from 3 to 4 inches of rain at the highest. So a good amount of rain there north of I-30. And this is actually good news because it'll be spread out over several days, and our latest drought monitor is actually quite disappointing for the ArkLaTex. And again, we'll take a quick but deeper dive into that here in just a moment. The good news is we might have even more rain on the way, and I say that's good news. We're about to enter some of our driest months in the ArkLaTex, so we need to get as much rain as we can get spread out, of course. So whenever it comes to our extended precipitation outlook, just beyond our 7-day forecast, going into the following week, there's also a slight chance that we see an above average amount of rainfall. That would be the week of May 21st through the 27th. So that is a little bit in the mid to long range, so lots going to change there. We're going to keep an eye on it, and of course, we'll let you know whether or not the confidence increases in more rain or increases in less rain. We'll keep you posted there. As far as today, we're going to see high temperatures in the upper 80s and low 90s, and really, it's going to be a similar forecast on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We don't see a big change in temperatures until our next cold front arrives as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. So you'll notice Tuesday we're in the upper 80s, Wednesday the mid 80s, and then mid to upper 70s for your high temperatures as we get into the day on Thursday. So a big change compared to the 90s. Of course, it is getting to be summertime in the ArkLaTex. So the 70s aren't going to be sticking with us for very long, likely be right back to the mid and upper 80s within a day or two. Worst case, or longest, maybe next weekend, we get back into the mid and upper 80s. So going to keep those above average temperatures going into the following week and likely as we head into the month of June as well. Let's dive into our latest drought monitor. Just came out today. And when we put, and I'm actually going to make this bigger real quick so you can see it a little bit better. But when you put last week's drought monitor compared to this week's side by side, there's not much of a change at all in the ArkLaTex. I'm really trying to make out any little detail, and it looks pretty much the same. However, where things have changed is if you compare it to last week's drought monitor update south of us. There have been huge changes to the drought monitor. Out toward Dallas, they're no longer in drought. Out toward Alexandria, parts of that area are down to level 2 drought. And then south of that, as you get closer to I-10, are in level 1 or even pre-drought conditions. I do want to take you out to the Baton Rouge area real quick. You'll notice there's a big hole right here where now there are no longer drought conditions. If I remember correctly, that area saw a good bit of rain within a day or two. I want to say it was like 8 to 12 inches of rain in kind of that confined area. That's why they're not seeing drought conditions anymore. So we've got a lot of rain to catch up on in the ArkLaTex that we just haven't been as lucky with in recent rain events as far as getting lots of rainfall. One last thing I want to give you the first alert to before we talk a little bit more about your 7-day forecast or wind gusts. You're going to notice starting Friday night, wind gusts picking up to maybe 15 to 25 miles per hour. Much of that will continue into Saturday, and then winds should start to taper off heading into Sunday. Of course, if that changes, make sure to let you know. But for now, it does look like those winds will finally taper off heading into Sunday and Monday. All right, let's talk 7-day forecast. As we head through the next couple of days, again, it's going to be dry, sunny, good days to spend outside. Just don't forget to stay hydrated. Don't forget your sunscreen if you're going to be out there for a while. Temperatures really remaining unchanged. Minus or plus or minus a degree or two through Tuesday. It's not until Wednesday we get a little bit cooler. We're going from the upper 80s to the mid 80s, and then Thursday's the big change, mid 80s to mid to upper 70s. So a nice little drop in temperatures there. Rain chances also increasing starting on Tuesday, and likely being more on the elevated side as we head into the end of next week and possibly into the following weekend. All right, thank you so much for joining me. Of course, you can stay up to date with the latest on all of our social media platforms at KSLA News 12. And you can also follow me as well for the latest weather updates at Jake Lambright, wherever you get your forecasts. Thank you so much for joining me. And of course, we'll have more for you over on our website, ksla.com.